Hello everyone, today we are going to watch the recap of the movie titled, About Love. The movie opens with a gorgeous woman named Nina purchasing items from a store. As she pays the bill, her budget gets less, prompting her to return the items, and it is then evident that she is not in a solid financial situation. On her way back from the shop, a car passes nearby and splatters her with muddy water. She yells at the driver for making her dress spoiled, and when he pulls over and approaches her, he apologizes and offers her money. Nina yells at him, and rejects his financial offer and keeps walking. As Nina enters her house, it is in complete disarray. Alexander, her husband, is waiting for her in home. She tells him about how her clothes got dirty and the man who offered her money. Alexander, basically a professor, questions her about why she didn't accept the money, because they are both struggling to make ends meet, and have huge debts despite having a mortgage. The bank is constantly sending them notices to pay off their debt, or risk having their home taken away. She breaks down in tears after reading the bank's notice. Her husband consoles her and assures her that they would soon find a solution to this problem. In order to cheer her up, Alexander takes off her clothes, and they starts to make love. The next day in college, Nina is one of Alexander's students. At home, they are a couple, but at college, they are a professor and a student. Alexander then tells Nina to go to the bank and get a loan extension to pay off her bills. Following this, Nina arrives at the bank and is shocked to see the manager there, the same man he had shouted at before for making her dress dirty. The man immediately recognizes Nina as well. He introduces himself as Sergio and asks her why she is there. Nina then discloses her financial condition and requests an extension of the time limits. He extends their credit limit to settle the amount despite her having insulted him. She expresses gratitude and inquires as to anything else she can do in return. He replies that the bank will soon have a business conference with Chinese individuals, and they are in need of a Chinese translator. If she knows anyone, she can recommend them in favor. Since she is fluent in Chinese, she offers her services to Sergio as a translator. The head of the Chinese firm likes playing gambling games, which he does with Nina and Sergio as well. Sergio gives her 2 chips so she may try her luck, and what a stroke of luck, she wins both bets and earns nearly $7,000. The Chinese man and Sergio are both in a state of wonder of how great she is at this game. After winning 2 consecutive games, she unfortunately lost the third one, but they are both happy that they at last had a good time. Then Sergio takes her to a restaurant for dinner. Nina asks him to extend the limit a little bit more, so she can pay off her debts. Sergey responds that he will raise the limit only if she agrees to spend the night with him. Nina becomes upset and leaves. Then Alexander is informed of everything when she gets home, and she also lets him know that she lost the entire $7,000 she had won from gambling. Alexander shouts at her for being so foolish to bet everything in one game, since he feels it's too much. Soon after, the bank sends them another notice demanding with them to pay off their debts as soon as possible. When Nina reads this, she is worried that she would have no alternative but to abide by Sergio's requests. She contacts him and offers to spend the night with him. That evening, Sergio books a hotel room for them and invites her along. They started having sex, but Sergio doesn't force it on Nina. Instead, he does what she wants. His courteous action made Nina impressed. They ultimately receive a bank extension to pay their bills, but as their new relationship develops, Nina begins to have regular intercourse with Sergio. After a few days, Sergio abruptly vanishes. Nina looks for him wherever he frequently visited, but she is unable to find him. Because she loves Sergio so much, anytime her phone rings, she immediately answers it believing Sergio is on the other end. However, Sergio is staying at home with his phone off since his son is sick, and because his wife Tamara always worries to him about not being able to spend enough time with his family. Nina behaves differently with everyone, even with her best friend and her husband. Alexander takes her to the hospital because he feels she gets sick. After she is discharged, he brings her home and makes an attempt to have sex with her to cheer her up. Nina disagrees with him before admitting that she no longer loves him, and is in a sensual relationship with Sergio. After hearing all of this, Alexander beats Nina and throws her out of his house. After being rendered homeless by Alexander, Nina contacts Sergio and tells him what transpired between her and Alexander. Since he is a wealthy individual, Sergey takes her up and buys her an apartment, where Sergio and Nina can have sex without interruption. Nina subsequently exhibits her apartment to a friend, who asks Sergio whether he would marry her or simply have a sensuous connection with her. Nina then questions Sergey about whether or not he sees her as more than a sexual object. He replies to her question by opening up that she is more important to him than anything else. She is ecstatic, and they continue to have sex without marrying. Then Nina goes to take a shower after saying goodbye to Sergio. Meanwhile, she hears the doorbell ring and quickly exits the shower, while still wearing her bathrobe, thinking of Sergio's arrival. When she opens the door, she is surprised to see Alexander standing there. He walks into her apartment and mocks her, telling her that she will never be happy with Sergio. He goes on to say that Sergio only sees her as a sex slave. She gets furious and yells at Alexander to leave her apartment. Alexander then takes her by the throat and rapes her before fleeing the flat. Sergio ultimately arrives to his apartment to stay the night, and when he discovers Nina sitting unhappily on her bed, he asks her why, and she says that it is due to their continued sexual activity. She became pregnant. Sergio is stunned to hear this. However, since he is the one who made it, he remains unspoken. Sergio then pays a visit to his wife Tamara and tells her everything. Since they already living together as a divorced couple and Tamara is aware of his affair, she declines to engage in sexual activity with him. For them, this is not a huge concern. Meanwhile, enraged Alexander hides with a knife behind a building, planning to kill Sergio for having his wife pregnant, but Nina intervenes and calms him down. Then the scene abruptly cuts to a few years later. Nina has given birth to Alexander's child. While Sergio reunited with Tamara and is now blissfully cohabiting with both of his wives. Alexander attends a party where Nina and Sergio are present. He speaks to Nina and tells her that he loves her and is waiting for her. He also tells her that she is welcome to turn to him at any moment if she ever feels alone. Nina then brings him to a hotel room where they proceed to have sex. After they have intercourse, Nina leaves, informing him that it was their last encounter. At the end of the film, Nina shows guilt for cheating on Sergey, who loves her and is the father of her child. And the movie ends. Thanks for watching the video.